I do have to say, I do support the game having really changed up its decor in the previous level, but couldn't they at least make the level look vaguely similar on the world map to what it actually looks like when you go there? I don't feel like that's an unreasonable thing to ask for. But I guess I'll just take what I can get. There you go. Discover. There we go. Alright. Oh boy. Thing to draw. Thing to draw. Oh boy, game. Chill out. Rotating. Not even rotating anything, just rotating. And rainbow. This is a weird place to see a rainbow. Platform that will rotate your path. A rotating. A platform that will rotate your path. That feels very, poorly translated or something. Of course, I know that this game is actually made in a... I think by a studio that speaks English to start with. I actually don't know where this game's developer is from. Where they're based. Anyways, this is another one of those times where I think, okay, I have an idea about Super Battle Bikini Bottom, and I should probably try to do anything else every now and then. Do I have any other ideas? Probably should, because the rotating platform is not that novel a concept. But I can't think of any rotating platforms in the other games off the top of my head. At least with distinct appearances. Out your brain rotating platforms in Klonoa, for instance. I mean, I guess I can think of one game that kind of has some rotating platforms. I wish you got a round eraser too. Just try to round off these edges. Don't. That one turned out very nicely. I'm very happy with that. No, not as well, but I'll take it. Actually, no, I won't take it. I'm not going to take it. It's not really an improvement, but... Okay, now my standards have become higher, and I think that you look awful. Sure. Okay, and... It's one of those things where I'm not sure if I'm remembering it all that clearly, to be honest, but... I think I remembered enough. I could have made this not solid white though. Might work well enough. There's a really long lingering bit to that sound effect, isn't there? Weird. Some unusual sound design. Sound design is one of those things I find kind of interesting just by virtue of it being something that you never think about usually. But then the people who do actually work on it have to think very hard about it. Like what makes something sound good or what makes something evocative of a particular concept. Very intuitively without having to ever actually think about it. That's the sort of question that is the job of a sound designer. And sound design is one of those things where you rarely notice it if it's good. You might notice it if it's really good, but otherwise you usually only notice it if it's bad. And that has definitely happened to me plenty of times. Noticing awkward sound design. Like when I think of sound design being good, jeez, I think of the WarioWare series. It has a very distinctive, well, it's a distinctive, odd sort of series in general. It's very much, it feels much more Japan focused than, Japan oriented than most Nintendo stuff. Like it has a very Japanese surreal sense of humor, but leaving that aside, it's also has some very, very memorable, distinct, interesting, funny sound design. To the point where I think it's noticeable, actually. It's also where you notice it being very Japanese, because some of the sound clips will be somebody saying something in English or saying something in Japanese. Okay, give me a darker color. Maybe not that much darker. In most cases, it might just take a silly amount of time to shade something fairly simple, but in this case, I don't know if it'll be worth it because the shading I'm putting on here is fairly subtle. It's just the very edges. I do think this is pretty much how the thing is shaded in the source material, but we'll have to see how it looks. The shading might be might have a bigger, jeez, the shadows and highlights might encroach further into the body of the thing in the source material. Yeah. This is what I get for trying to be pixel perfect here. I am doing base just 2 pixels thickness, which is very, very subtle. So yeah, it's probably to the point where it's pointless. Like, it looks good kind of here, if I actually have it zoomed into this degree. But at the size it's going to be in-game, it's probably not going to be visible at all. Which makes my committal to this a little foolish, but oh well. Most of the way done already, so. Dude. Okay, now just a darker wet color. In any case, as to what this is I believe in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, you see some rotating blocks that look like this. Specifically, once you get to a particular world where you have lots of, like, it's a very, I don't like the worlds have names. I don't remember the number at all. But it's like very green, grassy. Lots of floating things, like there are floating spheres of water you can swim through and stuff like that. It has some levels that are just jumping around on enemies over a bottomless pit and so on. And you can see the shading on this, it's okay. But yes, I believe there are platforms that look like this in that area. I could be wrong. Oh wow, you just make the gradient. That's hilarious. You want a gradient? I'll give you a gradient. The time has come. Actually, let's do it the other way around. Okay, and then in the middle. So we'll basically start at one level of detail, and we'll just keep going until we're satisfied. I feel like, as far as Nintendo's own guidelines for menus navigated by the Wii Remote, the size of the things you have to click on in this game is probably way smaller than it should be. I can still do it. I'm not that frustrated trying to select things with the Wii Remote in this game. But I do pretty frequently mess stuff up. Okay. We're gonna make this thing smooth. We're gonna make it as smooth as can be. I'm gonna do it entirely by just using this thing, the color picker. I should make that smaller. I want to see how smooth we can make this thing. Try to keep the sizes of the different colors even though. Right. This is a dumb exercise, but this whole time I've been resisting the urge to just make ridiculously smooth gradients. Because it would be dumb and tedious. And now that I'm doing it now, it's probably still going to be dumb and tedious. But this just feels like the time to do it. This is the time to make a gradient as smooth as you can. Not super even on the different colors here at the moment, but we can try to fix that as we go. I just want it to look like impossibly smooth. Like we didn't actually have a palette we had to use. Oh, this one. Kind of a problem here. There we go. I think I'm starting to see optical illusions, and some of these solid bands are actually starting to look like they are themselves gradients. Okay. I'll have to do a few passes here. Can you imagine a world where I never actually learned that you could do this trick with the color picker? I think drawing stuff in this game would be very different. That's pretty good. I feel like I might do one more run through. There's not much space left at this point anyways. But like, this is getting good here. This is such a dumb way to spend time, just making a ridiculous gradient because I can. You know what? I might leave it like this because it's just gonna be tedious and take forever. Okay, next time we'll behold our very smooth gradient. Bye, everyone.